Hey, everybody, welcome to the You Are Worthy Network. I'm your host, Steve Wormer. Thrilled to be with you this Wednesday afternoon. I want to, before we introduce our incredible guest, I want to take just a second and tell you about something super exciting coming up. Yes, I'm getting ready to make a plug, which I don't do very often. Have you ever felt stuck? You know what you're created to do, you know what you're called to do in this next season of life. But whether it be fear of success, fear of failure, paralysis by analysis, procrastination, imposter syndrome, I assure you, I've struggled with all of those and more. But those things are holding you back from what's calling you. And I want to encourage you that you are worthy of the next step. And that's why my friend and fellow coach Christy Dees and I are putting on a 1 hour masterclass Monday, July the 20th. Imagine that. It's called Worthy of Your Next Step. We're going to give you some practical tools, but also encourage you, be in an environment that encourage you to take the next step, because all the steps I've taken, I usually didn't take them all by myself. I needed somebody to help me. So anyway, come join us. All the registration QR codes and links, they're all over the place. You'll find them. Love to have you there. Okay, with that being said, I am excited to tell you about my new friend, an incredible business owner, Havilah Vangroll, who is a business owner, speaker, leader, lifelong learner, and firm believer that people are the most important part of any organization. For more than 25 years, she has worked in talent acquisition, leadership development, and organizational strategy, helping companies create workplaces where people can do their best work and businesses can grow sustainably. As the founder of the H, I think it's HAV
Have
Strategy
strategy.
Consulting. Say again.
It's have strategy.
The E dropped out of there. As the founder of Have Strategy Consulting, she helps leaders build what she calls raving fan employees through better hiring, stronger leadership, healthier cultures, and intentional people processes. But that is only one part of Havilah's story. She has been married to her husband for nearly 26 years and is the proud mother of two amazing children, a daughter 21 and a son 18, who have taught her just as much about leadership, communication, and growth as any business experience ever could. Havilah also spent several years as a health and nutrition coach and nearly a decade teaching people how to prepare simple, healthy meals at home. She remains passionate about helping people create healthy, sustainable lives, both personally and professionally. Whether she's speaking about leadership, culture, entrepreneurship, health, personal growth, or the challenges of balancing it all, Havilah brings a practical, honest perspective shaped by decades of experience and a genuine curiosity about people. At her core, she believes that when we help people become healthier, more confident, more connected, and more capable, we don't just build better businesses. We build better communities and make the world a better place. So, so awesome. Havilah, welcome to the You Are Worthy Network.
Thank you. It's very weird to hear someone read your bio and like it's just very odd.
You know, I've asked a couple of people that. What does that sound like when you're hearing it read back to you?
It's like, oh, well, one, I'm old. How did I get so old? When did that happen? And and
Not
two,
old. You're wise.
there you go. It's just funny because I guess when you write the bio and you do it and you're trying to make it, you're trying to incorporate the things. I am what one of my friends calls multi-hyphenated, right? Like I just am not a I do one thing person. I'm just not. I can't. It's my brain. It just I get bored with one thing, so I have to have multiple things happening. But it's always weird to hear it because I'm like, really? I sound ridiculous.
Do you stress yourself out?
Well, I'm just like, that's just dumb. Like, how dumb am I? Like, again, it's the whole, it's just funny. Like, it's like when you hear for the first time, nowadays it's not such a big deal because we're on video so much more. We do so much more audio work than we did. But growing up in the 80s, when you would hear your, like, you would record on a tape, because again, old, you'd record on a tape and then you'd play it back and you're like, that's what I sound like? Like it was shocking the first few times you actually heard your voice back because the voice you hear in your head when you speak versus the voice that actually is out there in the world is not always the same thing. And so it's very and having your bio read while you're standing here is sort of that same experience where you're like, that's what I sound like? Like that's my voice? Like, whoa, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I would imagine it's a little different. Like either it's very humbling or humbling. And could you hurry up and be done with that?
Yeah, it's definitely like, oh, I wrote that. That's way too long. I should like make sure I write that a lot shorter next time.
Too funny.
Yeah, but
I tell people all the time that one of the great blessings of having a group that's exploded like this is we're eventually going to have people watch this interview from all over the world. So tell people what corner of the world you call home.
so I live in St. Petersburg, Florida, so I'm just outside Tampa, sort of like literally the central western coast of Florida. Like I'm right smack in the middle. I'm 4 hours from Miami. I'm 3 hours, 3.5 hours from the border, the Georgia border. So I'm literally right in the middle. So like if you most people know where Disney is in Florida, I'm an hour and I'm 75 minutes from Disney going east. So we're on the
Yeah.
very, very western side of we hang off the western side of Florida. It's beautiful. It's, it's the 3 months of the year that I least like right now in Florida. It's, surface of the sun hot, but it's okay. It's only 3 months. The rest of the year is pretty damn near perfect. So
Oh, I'm so jealous. I've been to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Jacksonville, Orlando, Pensacola, Panama City Beach, not Daytona. No, I haven't been there. Um, Destin, Fort Walton Beach, and yet I've met so many people in the last year from Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete,
yeah,
and have never even touched the region. One
such
day.
huge growth going on here. Like we're not like 90% of the people here now, we're not originally from here. We showed up here, well, 4 years ago exactly. So yeah, it's an area that was sort of unknown until it wasn't, and now everybody wants to live here, and there's good things and
Yeah.
bad things about that. But it is a gorgeous, I mean, it is a really sort of uniquely positioned place inside of Florida. It's very different than a lot of the rest of Florida. You've actually seen more of Florida than I have. I live here. But what people don't realize is Florida's 8 hours long. Like
Yeah.
it takes 8 hours to go from Miami to the top of, to like, the border where you exit Florida. I think that's South Carolina there. Um, so that's 8 hours, and you don't even leave the state, but it's only 3.5 hours across. Like it's super skinny. So
Yeah.
it's funny is like as much as and then the panhandle to get to Panama City from us, and I'm halfway down the state, so I'm not even all the way at the bottom. To get to the end of the panhandle where Pensacola is 8 hours. So again, it's
Yeah.
a very long, like it's much longer than anybody realizes. And one of the funniest things is that in the US we understand distance by time, right? Like our measurement of distance is time. It takes us X number of hours to drive somewhere. Could be 600 miles, doesn't really matter. Miles are not relevant. Time is. What's really funny is my daughter's been spending some time in Europe over the last few years, and I have, been watching all the people who've come over for the World Cup, and they're finally getting the concept of like just because you're in one part of Florida doesn't mean you get to see all of Florida, or just because you're in one part of Texas doesn't mean you get to even see all of Texas. Like just the
Yep.
sheer scope of our country is a little bit funny when you're looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, I get it all the time living in Tennessee. I mean, we lived in Nashville for 30 years. We're in Memphis, outside of Memphis now. And people that don't know the geography of a certain place, like they'll say, "Oh, you're in Tennessee. It's so beautiful." Well, yeah, Tennessee in general is beautiful. Sorry, all my local friends. Memphis is not as beautiful as the rest of the state, and we have a lot of issues, but we won't go into all that. But they'll inevitably say, "Oh, it's got to be so nice living so close to the mountains." And then I'll have to make the same point you do. Tennessee, depending on the part, north to south, an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right.
Lengthwise, 8 hours. And
Yeah.
I am easy 7 hours from the mountains, Smoky
Yeah.
Mountains,
Because
which I
you're on the
love the
far
Smoky
western side,
Mountains.
right?
I'm closer to the Ozarks in
Yeah.
southern Missouri.
Yeah.
They're not as beautiful, but if you want to go to the mountains, that's where you go, right? But no, it is fascinating. I digress though on the whole geography.
I know. I'm sorry. I
Um,
left turn
no,
there.
no. So you do life with your husband and two
Yeah.
children, right?
Yes. Yes, we do. We all are still in the same house for the moment. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's four of us in this house and two dogs.
So what do the four of you like to do for fun?
We really enjoy like we like hanging out with each other. Like I know that sounds silly but I really like my big kids. Like I like my kids at this age because they're fun and they're funny and we can go do things. So we love to travel. It's a lot of fun to travel with them at this point because again, I remember traveling at that age and just the excitement and the interest and the things that you get to see. And so it's fun to have that perspective as too. We like, we love to go out to dinner. We go hang out and do like, my husband and we just went go-karting the other day. Like that's super fun. So we just do sort of like things that you can do with big kids, right? Like my daughter and I sometimes will go watch sunsets on we have a couple of little restaurants down on the beach area that we can get on the roof of. They're a bar and now that she's 21, I can get her into these places. So it's like, oh, okay, we can go do these things. So just kind of, we're pretty chill. Everybody's pretty busy. She's in school. My son's getting ready to go to school. My husband works pretty much nonstop, and I'm not far behind. So, we do the simple things like just hanging out. Like we went and that we have a local soccer stadium and we went and watched the World Cup with with 300 of our closest friends. Just fun things
Nice.
like that. Just, sort of we're not super structured. We just like to hang out, just
Yeah.
talk, chat. We have dinner every night or most nights together and um there's a no phone rule, so we always get to have really hilarious conversations. My kids are funny. My husband's
I love
ridiculous.
that.
It's good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Let's get to know you a little bit before we jump in. Um, this is pick one or the other. It's going to come at you bullet style really fast. Don't overthink it. Go with your first instinct. And if you have to say both, we'll allow it here and there, but not both for every answer, okay?
Fair enough.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
I'm with you. Small town or big city?
Small town.
I like that. Read the book or watch the movie?
Book.
Books or podcast?
Books.
Mm. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird, but it's changed a little as I've gotten older, but mostly morning person.
Okay. Okay. Camping or hotel?
Hotel. Oh God, don't make me camp. Oh, oh,
This sounds like a story.
oh. Cannot think of anything I'd rather do less.
Ocean or mountains?
Now that I live so close to the ocean, probably mountains.
There. I thought you might say that. Coffee or tea?
Oh, that I'll do both. As a matter of fact, I have tea and I've already had my coffee for the day, so I'll do both on that one. I
Okay.
like both equally.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Drive or fly?
Depends on how long. Anything over about 5 hours, I will fly. Anything
I've
under
got
5 hours, I'm willing to drive.
I can do 12. I'll usually break it up. I've got a 12 hour in August and I'm flying, so I totally with you.
Yeah.
Cook or take out?
Depends on how I feel. I cook every day. I cook really well. My daughter was actually complaining that I have spoiled her into the point that she can't eat mediocre food anymore.
Yeah.
So takeout is really, I don't feel like cooking unless like I want something special.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that one I'm gonna have to say it's I cook every night, so probably cook. And I can usually cook better than most things you can get at restaurants, but occasionally it's nice to not be the one cooking and cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back a ways. Um, when you were in high school, did you know exactly what you wanted to do? Specifically, you're about to graduate. You're about to be handed that diploma. You 17, 18-year-olds, they're all over the place in their mindset. Did you know exactly what you wanted to do? Did you have a job? Did you know what job you needed for the summer? What you were going to do in the fall? Or were you like, I guess I better get serious now? I'm got to have the diploma in my hand in 48 hours. About to walk across that stage. New responsibilities start. I guess I should get a job. I guess I should figure out what I'm going to do in the fall. I guess I should start getting serious about life. Or are you somewhere in between?
Oh no, I was very clear, structured, planned, scheduled. I viewed myself as a grown-up from about the age of 10 on. I
Mm.
changed what I wanted to do as I got older, but I had a very clear, specific vision of what next was going to look like for me. Did that turn out to be true? So much. But at that moment, highly confident, redonkulously audacious, completely secure in my plan, my vision, my purpose in life, and exactly the fact that I would probably be running the world by 30. I was very
So,
clear.
okay. So share that clarity with us. What was that plan?
So I had a job that I'd had for the last 3 summers. I was a lifeguard and I taught swimming lessons. So I got paid really well and it was a great job. And you left with a killer tan. So life was good, right? I was in Vermont, so it was the summers weren't always warm.
6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks and not very warm. Um, so it was great. I was headed to college. I went to college in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I went to Calvin College. I think it's now called Calvin University. They've changed their name so they could add a football team. At the time, we didn't have one. So I was going there. I was going to study political science. I was going to go get a job in DC, and I was going to change the world. I was going to maybe even run the world if all went according to plan. Just absolute confidence that what I wanted in life would come to me regardless. Didn't work out that way. A lot of things happened. But at that moment at 18, I was freaking phenomenal. If I could recapture even a fraction of that audacious confidence, of that absolute like, yeah, why not me? Why wouldn't this work? Like, it's fine. I got a plan. I got it figured out. I know how I'm paying for school. I know what's happening. I've got the job. I've got like zero. And I went to a school I had never visited. So like I was literally
Oh,
driving 15 hours from Vermont to Michigan to go to a school I had never ever once visited. I knew nothing about other than what I'd read in a brochure, not even online, in a brochure. Yeah.
what, did
When
you
I
get a
say
scholarship?
audacious, I was ridiculous.
Did you get a scholarship? Wow. So this DC dream, does it involve being an elected official of some kind?
No, I went in to my political science degree was in international relations. So what I was really looking for was international work and work at a policy level for international stuff. I spent exactly 5 minutes in that space and went, probably not going to work out for me after graduation. So, but I was completely confident, clear, purposeful, focused, had an exit strategy for the end of college, like got it done. I went to a very academically rigorous school, and I did in 4 years what most people did in six in a master's degree. And so that ended up biting me in the butt on the backside because when I got to DC, everybody's like, well, you don't have a master's or a PhD, so we're not interested in you. And I'm like, but I already did the work. Like, I already did the information. But, anyways, there was a lot of other reasons. It was not a good fit. But that was my plan. So at 18, I was clear. I knew exactly what I was doing, and exactly where I was going in life. It was good.
Okay, so the curveball comes, then how do you adjust?
I got fired for the first time in my life at 23. Pretty much thought my life was done. Like I failed. It's over. Everything I thought I worked for, I'm just done. Just what am I gonna do? This has never happened to me. Me. I mean, it was devastating in a way that is hard to explain to my 52-year-old self, but my 23-year-old self was like, I literally can't breathe. Like, I have been rejected at the deepest level. I have been told I am a failure. I got fired. Now, it was not a fair firing, to be fair. It was not a fair firing. And I went after them with the with EEOC, and they got their hands slapped. But at the end of the day, it didn't change the fact that I was deeply traumatized.
Oh my
Deeply
gosh.
traumatized.
So I want to understand now at 23, is this with a different company altogether? Is this still international relations?
So international relations was just my degree. So I
Yeah.
went and was working with a subcontractor to World Bank. And it was a terrible job, horrible job, ridiculous job. And I was this, I don't say this arrogantly, this just is, I was way too smart to be in the job I was in with the people I was working with, which is what created the ultimate conflict. Like it was just the wrong job in every possible sense. Um, and that was fine. But it shook me to my core. And so it was the 90s, and I was like, temp agencies were huge. And I was like, I'm going to go temp and I'm going to go try these companies on before I make a decision. Like, I'm going to go date a few companies before I decide which one I'm marrying. Like,
Right.
this just saying yes because they're going to give me a paycheck seems wrong. Like, there's a problem here. Like, this was not what they sold me in the interview. This job sucks. So I picked myself up off the floor, dried my eyes, licked my wounds, and I went to go temp. And I spent 2 weeks on a temp job. Company had no need for me long term. It was really just a holdover thing. And it was fine. It paid the bills. It was great. But what it did was the company that I was working through, they were like, we really like you, and we have someone going out to get married for 2 weeks. Do you want to sit our desk? I was like, sure. Like, really? Okay. This is a real job? Like, sure, I'll try this. So I sat a temporary placement desk, recruiting desk for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, they're like, we really like you. Would you like to work here? And I'm like, doing what precisely? Because I don't think I want to do the temp thing because that was like really hard. And they're like, well, we need a junior recruiter in our permanent placement group. And they did mostly accounting at that point. And I was like, okay. So we're like, we're gonna pay you this, and then you get commissions, and then you do this. And I was like, you're gonna pay me what to do what? So you're gonna pay me that amount of money to help people find jobs. Okay, I'll try that. Never even knew that was a job that was available to me. Like, had zero concept that that was even something I could do. And just to abbreviate a very long history of story, that turned out to be a really solid match for who I was, how I worked, and the way I showed up in the world. Like it just worked for me. Like it was not a job. And people are like, recruiting is so hard. I'm like, it's really not. It feels really ridiculously easy. Like, why do you think this is so hard? But it wasn't that it's not hard. It just worked for me. It just was the job that worked for me. And people are like, well, how'd you end up in recruiting or talent acquisition? I'm like, tripped and fell face first. Violently is how I found it. So that
Wow.
was what
So,
happened at the end.
so you start with this company as a 2 week temp. They see your talents, then they hire you permanently. How long do you stay in that lane?
I stayed with them for 2.5 years, so I kind of cut what they call cut your teeth in the recruiting industry in agency recruiting, which is contingency recruiting. So it's 100% commission. It is brutal. It is so brutal. But I was 23, 24. I shared a house with four other girls. My literally my only expense was rent, food, and a car payment. Like that was it. That was all I was paying in life. And then I was paying my student loans off. So I was living off my draw, which was ridiculously low, and just using every commission check I had just to pay my student loan off. I paid my student loan off in 2.5 years, just done.
Well,
Because I didn't, but it wasn't until I got my taxes back that I was like, I made how much money last year? Because in my mind, I was only making $25,000 because that was my draw and that's what I was living off of. That's all I was living off of. Everything else was going elsewhere. It was either going into retirement or it was going into my student loans. So it was very funny when, that happened. So I stayed there for a bit. I went and worked in the .com world. I got recruited away from the agency into the .com world. Basically ran little mini agencies inside of these startups. And did that for a bit and then tried a few other things along the way. Always ended up coming back to recruiting. And then I got into government contracting and the recruiting space in government contracting because I was in the DC area. So that was 90% of what the work was. And, that's where I stayed was in tech and in government contracting for, yeah, 20 plus years. I mean, yeah, over 20 years, almost 25 years in it. So, and now I do sort of no staffing and still in those industries. So, yeah.
so are you doing this under your own business now?
Yeah. Yeah. So when
What?
I was pregnant with my first, I had a contract opportunity come. So I would be a 1099, so basically an independent. So I said, yep, I want to work this many hours a week. I want to work virtually and never come into the office. They're like, okay. And this was in 2004, before that was even a thing.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was really lucky and I got to do that. I was with that company on that contract for 5 years. And then I just moved through over the years different companies that I would go from contract to contract with um, inside the government contracting space. And then through a lot of different things, ended up in a consulting firm, which I loved the job. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I am done with the staffing bit. I just want to do the consulting part.
Okay.
And that was actually before, like, that was right as I got married around 2000. But then life happened and kids happened and other things happened and sick kids happened. And I just needed a job for a long time. And so I just went back to straight what I call source recruiting. It was just nobody died if I didn't do the job. Nothing bad happened if I couldn't show up for a day. And I could write my own hours and I could, I had a good enough reputation and I was really good at what I did that I got to pick and choose who and what I worked on. So I did that for a very long time. And then in 2019, I stopped because I was done. Staffing is emotionally very challenging. And you have to be either completely willing to disconnect from your own integrity if you're selling a company you don't particularly love, or you have to be really stringent about the companies you take. And I had gone from 2016 to 2019, life had gotten bumpy, very, very bumpy. And I looked at my husband and said, I know we need my income, but something's got to give right now. And the only thing that doesn't include someone dying is work. So I got to take a break. And I stepped away from staffing at that point and consulting and thought, well, you know what? I'll do health coaching because that made sense. Um, so I got nutrition. I have a certification from NASM in nutrition and was doing that. And then COVID hit and that got weird. Um, so I just kind of put it all on hold. And then after we moved here and I got everybody sorted and settled, I went, okay, now what do I want to do? And it definitely wasn't health coaching. So I was like, well, what if I went back and did consulting, but not staffing? And so that's where we are now. I do the consulting part. I have a staffing partner who does the staffing part. And my husband and I also run a government contracting business that is his, that he is, we have a contract with one of the research labs, one of the military research labs. So we do business and program management support for them. So I have two different things. I run his back office and then I run my own consulting bit.
So you, you are you are very diverse. You have had your hand in a lot of different endeavors. Walk us through, and maybe this doesn't even apply to you, this term I'm about to use, but walk us through a typical day. What does that look like?
Right now, it's pretty, it's delightful actually. I need to be busier, but right now I'm not super busy, so life is really good. I have a very nice slow morning. I walk the dogs, I do my morning devotional and prayer time and do that, and then I start my day. I deal with social media stuff. I do a couple different things. So I have like my Facebook stuff is a skincare and wellness company that I work with. So that's all my Facebook stuff. And then my LinkedIn stuff is all my consulting work. Chase some clients down, do what client work I have, that sort of thing. Run payroll, do the HR stuff, chase down accountants for my husband. Like that's the other part of my job. I'm also his FSO, so I'm his facility security officer. So like right now I'm writing security plans for a couple different things. I'm writing like we have to have as a business that carries a clearance, we have to have four different kinds of security plans. And so as the FSO, I get to write those. So we got our
Mm.
clearance a year ago in September. So I have to have all these done by September. So I'm now realizing I haven't finished all of them. I thought I had, but I still have, I think, one and a half left to do. So I'm writing that. So a typical day for me is anything like, yesterday, most of my day was dealing with reestablishing care with a doctor for all four of us. I herded all four of us to the doctor's office. We got to have a training session with my 21-year-old and my 19-year-old of like, how do you fill out your own paperwork?
Hmm.
Doesn't sound like a important thing, but teaching our kids to adult, like this is a huge part of what I'm still working with um on a daily basis with both my children and getting them ready. So I still do the majority of the heavy lift in the family stuff and making sure just because my husband is underwater working right now. And so my business again, when something has to take a second seat, it's usually my work. But I spent 2 years not so well. So my business really just disappeared. So about 3 months ago, we got it all sorted out, feeling much better now. So I'm back to building. So I do a lot of business building work, reach outs, emails, messaging, creating conversations with people. So that's the majority of my days, trying to talk to people.
Wow. I'm impressed with the versatility for sure.
You know what? Here's the thing. Every woman who is a mom is this versatile because we have to be, right? Like we have to be able to hold, like I am a walking repository of my children's medical records, not because I want to be, but because I've had to
It
be over the
have to be.
years, right?
Mhm.
Because I have to be. My husband used to get mad. Well, why do you always go to the doctor's appointments? I can do it. I'm like, do you know their medical history? Can you repeat to me everything I need you to be able to tell this doctor? Well, no. I'm like, then that's why. It's not personal. It's just you can't do it because you don't have the information. So that's the
Yeah.
thing about women is that they are always diverse. There's always the ability to hold all of those things, maybe not equally, not all at the same time, but to be able to move from thing to thing fairly seamlessly. And it's what makes women so really good in leadership that often gets overlooked. But that's a different conversation.
Yes. My wife is most definitely Wonder Woman. And you just described most women in North America, I believe. You know, I'm interested in with all your successes. I'm going to guess, but I could be wrong. That's probably why it's not good to guess, but I'm going to try. I'm thinking of that time at 23 years old when you were terminated, even though it wasn't just. How did that affect your worth?
Oh, it was like when I say it crushed me, it crushed
Mm,
me. I mean, again, up until that moment in time, I'd had disappointments. I had had minor failures. I had had difficulties and some friction, but I had never been handed something that said, you failed so utterly that you couldn't make someone see your point of view, your perspective, and they weren't willing to advocate for you. Like that had net I am charming. I am really good at getting people to see my point of view, or at least at that particular juncture of my life. I I had advocates everywhere, even when I didn't know it, because I was cute and I was sweet and I was funny and I was a great conversationalist at 18. Nobody expected that, right? So this was such a jarring experience that it affected how I showed up in every other job for decades. I would hear the
mm,
words, we need to talk, and I literally would have a small panic attack, like immediately. Like I've done, and immediately start the dialogue and the run through in your head of what did I do wrong? What did I fail? What did I forget? What did you like? Oh my gosh, why am I wrong? What was just that immediate like panic. And so I mean, it really abruptly, violently shattered my sense of self, my sense of worth, my sense of purpose. Like it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, but also the most traumatic at that point in my life, which is
mm,
great because, if that's the worst it's been, it's good. But it was very, it did alter me in ways that never quite went back to the same. Like it never completely, like that scar became very vivid and very real and never went back to what it was before. It was always present,
mm.
always visible, always noticeable. Um, yeah, it
Wow.
definitely was sort of yeah, it definitely shattered a lot of things in my life, my
Sure.
psychic.
Yeah. How are you today? Like, let me explain what I mean by that question. Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel at peace? Do you feel joy? Are you living your best life right now?
No.
Tell me more.
So, I knew we were going to talk about worthiness, and so I've been thinking a lot about this. And it's really, God has interesting ways of showing up on a regular basis and beating us over the head with things that we are being bluntly, we're being obstinate about.
Hmm.
And worth is really something that I have struggled with, particularly in the last 6, 7 years. Pretty much since I stopped doing regular contract work and have sort of been a little bit adrift for the last 6 years. There were reasons, and none of those reasons are things that I would necessarily have chosen differently. I don't I needed to stop doing what I was doing physically, mentally, emotionally. My family needed me to not be quite such a screaming crazy person anymore. I needed, and then to have been available through that COVID thing. I had a freshman in high school and a sixth grader when it happened. And we were in Northern Virginia and it was bad. The response was horrendous. And so all of a sudden I had all these people in my house who needed a whole lot more from me than they had needed. And I didn't have the space or the capacity then to continue doing the working part. Like my entire focus capacity was keeping these two people functional and alive and happy. And we dealt with mental health issues and we dealt with all kinds of things in those 2 years that we were dealing with the COVID nonsense in Northern Virginia. And so from that sense, like I can intellectually think, oh, I did these things and this is great. And it was important that I did them. There was worth in that. There was importance in that. There was this family could not have functioned the way it did if I hadn't done those things. And there's value in that. The unfortunate part is part of the modern experience, particularly for women, is that we're told if we're not earning, we're not really contributing. And so I haven't really been earning in a way that I needed to for the last 6 years. And so, again, things that really just, so instead of being a shattering moment, it's been like a slow erosion of a riverbank that's dirt or sand as the river rises and the river decreases, and it just slowly erodes those edges. And so that's what's happened over the last 6-ish years to what I considered my worth, like how I value myself. Where is my value and how I show up and what I do? And it's been interesting coming into knowing I'm coming into this conversation to really sort of take a minute and say, well, let's evaluate that. Like where are we thinking right now? And again, I've been in and around the coaching industry since 2014. So I have a lot of the tools that one needs to do these introspective things.
Okay.
But knowing the tool and being able to actually utilize it are very different things. So it's just been very interesting to sit and ask that question of myself is how do I measure my worthiness and is it accurate to true worthy? What is true worthiness, right? So, and is it accurate to whatever that truth is? And it's not. I haven't been. And so, as I've had some fluctuations over the last 4 years, particularly since we moved here, not being able to physically do a lot of the things that I'm accustomed to doing has also really wrecked some of that, has sped up that erosion. And so now as I'm coming back into a different season of life, going, well, does anybody want to work with me? Why would anybody hire me? I don't have all the titles. I don't have all the big accolades. Like, what do I really know? I'm not, am I really worth charging that much? Like, it's those little quiet, niggling dialogue in your head that's really where that are you living your best life? Am I living my best life? In many ways, 100%. Do I have anything to truly complain about? Not really. Do I have some circumstances that are due to some bad decisions a long time ago that I'm now dealing with now? Yes, also difficult, but not horrible. So I think there's part of that piece of it too. I'm not sure I'm being coherent, but part of the worthiness thing for me too is why do I deserve more? Why am I worthy of anything additional? My life's pretty freaking good. I want more. I desire more. I'm trying to create opportunity for more for myself, for my family, for my kids, for my husband, like, but also for me, for my business, for companies I work with. But why do I get more? My life's really pretty good. I've had a pretty excellent life. Like I've had some rough moments, but how do I get more? Am I worthy of more? So that's sort of the dialogue that has been an interesting introspective experience in answering that question, right? Like on one hand, yeah, my life's awesome. On the other hand, it's like, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. So I know that was a very complex answer to a simple question, but
I hear that internal battle of gratitude versus the heart still desires and longs for more, whatever the more may be. I appreciate your vulnerability and honesty with that for sure. I think it's a delicate balance. We all, if we're being true to ourselves, we're all internally facing. Um, what do you think is next?
so again, I'm in a weird transitional space right now, right? Not quite an empty nester, but I also have more time and more energy and more space that's mine than I've had since I was in my 20s. So this it's a sort of redefining identity on top of creating worthiness and feeling like I am worth that to some company who wants to hire me. I am worth that to my family. I am worthy because I'm a redeemed child of God. Like it's those things stacked on top of each other that that as I come into this new season of life, I'm like, who do I get to be now? And what is she worthy of? And why is she worthy? And how am I going to embrace that worthiness? And I think really what it comes down to and what has been repeated in the devotionals and the scripture reading and the things that have come up over the last couple of weeks is that as a redeemed child of God, that worthiness is guaranteed. It's
Mhm.
non-negotiable. It's not
Yep.
if I can, it's simply a matter of do I believe enough? Do I
Oh,
have the faith to truly put that anxiety at the feet of God and walk away from it and not try to drag some of it with me? I am not good at the leaving it alone part, but I
mm.
can worry it a little bit, please. Are you sure you have this under control? Because really, I'm not seeing the whole plan. And if I don't see the whole plan, I'm really not sure we're going to solve this problem. So I'm working on redefining my identity as who I am, not just mom, not just wife, not just part like who do I get to be in this new season? And I think a lot of women in their 50s sit with this same experience because we've been defined by career and family. And now all of a sudden a lot of things change for us physically, mentally, emotionally,
Yeah.
and we go, "Oh, well, is this the identity I want to continue with? Or do I get to redefine it because I'm now in a new space with new opportunities and resources that I haven't had in a really long time. Like time is a resource that when you're a mom and you're working and you're a partner and you're doing all the things and time is the scarcest resource, right? Like it is the most precious of your resources and you get really really, at least I did, really good at stretching it to its absolute max. Well, now it's kind of like an
Yep.
elastic that snapped back but is a little saggy at the same time. And I'm like, well, I don't know really what to do with all the time I have because nobody needs me. I don't have to be up at 6 to get a kid off to high school. I don't have to, like, well, how do I define where I am? So that's sort of where the season is now for me is remembering who I am, deciding who I want to be, and what does that look like as I offer and show up and in service in the world for work, for whatever. And remembering that just because I didn't do something then doesn't mean that I can't do it now or that I don't
Right.
have, just because I don't have the title or the accolade, I still have the knowledge and experience. Like, and I have a way of communicating it that's different than so many other people out there. I have to stop being afraid and I have to stop being quiet, which if people who know me would roll their eyes and be like, quiet is not your problem. Quiet about what I am capable of and why I am capable of it. So I don't know. Again, I'm not sure I'm being
That
totally coherent here, but
no, no, I'm tracking with you. I want you here in a second to share with folks where they can learn more about you and more about your work. We'll have that in the show notes, of course. But before you answer that, I want to encourage you a little bit. I caught a little lie that you've been buying.
yeah, there's a few of
And
them. I'm
and and
working on
and,
that.
and it's subtle, right? It's how the enemy works, right? Nobody needs me anymore. That's not
Right,
true.
right. Yeah,
It's they need you differently.
right. And that's that redefining identity piece, right? Like there are certain parts of my identity that I've had since I was 6 years old, 7 years old. I'm a redeemed child of God, right? I've had a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. The Holy Spirit and I are like, we are tight. Like he and I talk, like I hear him, I get it. I am ridiculously intuitive, but really it's just him being like, "Well, that's the thing right there. That's it." Right? I have a weird gift of, I won't say prophecy because that's not really it. It's, I get a knowing that I just know certain things. And I know it's not me knowing. It's I'm being given a piece of information that I need to do something with. Do I always do what I need to do? No. We're still working on that. Again, control. I have a control problem. He's constantly breaking my control problem. Mm.
I relate.
The control thing is like again that not being able to see the whole thing. So yeah, I think that is a big a big part of that redefining that identity, that there are certain parts of my identity that are unchanged, but then there are other parts of my identity that are going through a transformation right now that, again, doesn't maybe shock my sense of worthiness, but it can erode it because, again, those lies they pick up,
Yeah.
that dishonesty, that disintegrity, that being out of integrity with your who I am, and forgetting that and saying, well, this must be because I didn't, or I am, or taking something that isn't mine and making it my problem, my fault, my thing to solve. I think I will say this too quickly, and then I'll stop because words are my problem. Um, I am somebody who I will solve the problem. I will fix it. I will figure it out. I got really into that in my late 40s, I'm still in my early 50s, but in my late 40s, very much of a me. I'm the solution. I'm not, in the
Mm,
sense of I don't know the plan. All I'm responsible for is the next step. Just what am I doing today that is putting me in the direction I'm being driven, even if I can't see the end. And God bless, I really want to see the end. I need to know that this works, right? Like, that has really been a test of, can I do it? Can I get there? Because I am not the solution. I can't fix it. I can't do it. I'm not strong enough. I don't have the energy for it. I'm not smart enough. And I'm smart and I'm not smart enough. Right? Like, that's been the biggest, I think, the lesson that I've been given by Holy Spirit over and over in the last couple of years has been, it is not you, it is me.
yeah.
Right. Yes, got that. Oh, but I'm going to pick it back up and I'm going to put it back in my pocket and I'm going to figure it out by myself and I'll let you know if it's okay. You know, like, there's definitely that. So
They,
that's
they,
part of it for sure.
they say hold on to those things loosely because it's going to hurt more if you hold tightly when he pries them from your hands.
Right.
But
And
anyway,
stop wrestling, put it down, walk away.
walk away.
Working on that.
Yep.
Working on that.
Tell us where folks can find more about you, learn more about
So
you.
I am on Facebook as Havilah Magruder Vangroll. I am on LinkedIn as Havilah Magruder. I mean, Havilah Vangroll. Sorry, Magruder just got in the way there. Havilah Vangroll. I do most of my corporate and business is all on LinkedIn. Facebook is my fun, personal, and skincare and wellness space. It's where I also still provide meal planning and health information. So if that's what you want, I'm over there on Facebook. I am havestrategy.com is my website, and that's all I do. Those two social media platforms. I can't deal with the rest of them. It's just too much.
No, we'll include those in the show notes. I'm with you. I tried TikTok,
Oh God, no.
got rid of Twitter years ago. Yep. LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. But anyway.
I'm
Um,
starting. Actually, that's not true. I have 3 workshops and four, no, 8 shorts on how to hire and how to retain. I do have that on YouTube. It's Have Strategy at YouTube.
I don't know if you gave me YouTube, so
I don't think because I
you
just
might
got
want
it
to
fixed.
sneak it to me when we get off air
I
real
will.
quick.
I will do that. It's because I just fixed it. It was really bad, and I just had it fixed, so it now works.
Perfect timing. Um, Honestly, I want to thank you. You've been extremely real, extremely vulnerable, and forthcoming. And I really appreciate that. And I know there's going to be folks that watch this that will resonate with that. And that's why I created this. And I want to say to you personally, and I'm talking to the viewers too, I love that I get to say this to close out shows. A lot of people don't know this, but on the You Are Worthy Network private Facebook group banner on our Facebook page, of course, it says You Are Worthy Network at the top, da 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 da. On the bottom, a little smaller, it says Your story's not over yet. And so I want to tell you and all our viewers that whatever you've been going through, whether it's just been awful or whether it's just been meh or whether it's still searching, still longing, still praying, whatever that is for you, that I believe some of your best chapters are still to come. You're in a chapter right now, and some of those longer seasons, they feel like they're never going to end. You feel like it's the entire book, but it's not. You've got some incredible chapters coming. And thank you for being my new friend. Thank you for being my special guest today. This has been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I've had fun.
Guys, your story's not over. And you're worthy of love, respect, and success because of the blood of Jesus. I appreciate each one of you. Thank you for joining in. Till next time, take care.